There's something unsettling about a knock on your door at 11 p.m. It's the kind of sound that instantly tightens your chest. Your mind races. Who could it be? What happened? That night, when I heard those 3 slow knocks echo through my apartment, I had no idea that what waited on the other side of the door would change the way I see kindness forever. Before we begin, if stories like this touch your heart and remind you that goodness still exists in this world, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Welcome to Your Channel Name, where we tell stories that matter, stories that stay with you long after the screen goes dark. Now let me take you back to that night. It was late October in a small town in Ohio. The air had that sharp, cold edge that tells you winter is coming. I had just finished a long shift at the warehouse. My back ached, my feet were sore, and all I wanted was a hot shower and a few hours of sleep before doing it all over again. Life hadn't been easy that year. After my dad passed away, I had taken on extra hours to help my mom keep the house. Bills piled up faster than paychecks. College felt like a distant dream. Most nights, I was too tired to even think about the future. Around 10:45 p.m., I was sitting on the couch, half asleep, watching some late-night rerun I wasn't even paying attention to. Then came the knock. 3 slow, steady taps. At first, I thought maybe I imagined it. But then it came again. My stomach dropped. Nobody visits at 11 p.m. unless something is wrong. I walked to the door quietly and looked through the peephole. Standing under the dim hallway light was Mrs. Carter, my best friend Jason's mom. She was wrapped in a thick gray coat, her hair pulled back, her face pale and serious. My heart started pounding. I opened the door quickly. "Mrs. Carter, is everything okay? Is Jason all right?" She looked at me for a long second before speaking. "Jason's fine," she said softly. "Can I come in for a minute?" Her voice wasn't panicked. It wasn't angry. But there was something heavy in it. I stepped aside and let her in. She sat at the small kitchen table while I stood awkwardly by the counter. I hadn't seen Jason much lately. Between my work schedule and his classes at the community college, our lives had drifted in different directions. Mrs. Carter folded her hands on the table and looked at me. "Do you know what Jason told me tonight?" she asked. I shook my head. "He told me about the money." My stomach tightened. A few weeks earlier, Jason had mentioned that his tuition payment was short. He didn't know how he was going to cover the remaining balance before the deadline. He was embarrassed about it, but he trusted me enough to share. I didn't think twice. I had some overtime pay sitting in my account. It wasn't much, about $800, money I had been saving in case our car broke down. But Jason needed it more, so I transferred it to him and told him it was a loan. The truth? I never expected it back. Mrs. Carter looked at me with tears building in her eyes. "Why didn't you tell anyone?" she asked. I shrugged. "It wasn't a big deal. It was to us," she said, her voice cracking. "You have no idea what that meant." I didn't know what to say. I felt uncomfortable. I hadn't done it for praise or attention. Jason was my friend. That was enough. She reached into her coat pocket and pulled out an envelope, placing it on the table between us. "We can't accept it," she said firmly. "I'm giving this back to you." I stared at the envelope but didn't touch it. "Mrs. Carter, please," I said. "Jason needs it." She shook her head slowly. "That's not why I'm here." She took a deep breath. "Jason told me something else. He said when you sent him that money, you told him, 'Just promise me one thing. When you're in a position to help someone someday, don't think twice. Just do it.'" I felt my face grow warm. "I didn't mean anything by it," I said quietly. "But I did," she replied. She leaned forward. "You don't see yourself clearly, do you?" I didn't understand what she meant. "You lost your father this year. You're working double shifts. You're helping your mother keep her house. And yet you still found room in your heart to take care of my son." Her voice trembled. "That kind of kindness doesn't come from money. It comes from character." I didn't know why, but those words hit me harder than I expected. For months, I had felt like I was barely holding things together, like I wasn't doing enough, like I was falling behind everyone else my age. But in that moment, she was looking at me like I was someone strong, She slid the envelope closer to me again. "This isn't repayment," she said. "It's something different." I finally picked it up and opened it. Inside was not just the $800. There was more. My eyes widened. "Mrs. Carter, I can't take this." "You can," she said gently. "And you will." She explained that when Jason told her what I had done, she shared the story with a few people from their church. Word spread quietly. People who knew my dad, people who had seen me grow up, they had put together a small fund. "For you," she said. I couldn't speak. "I know you've been putting off college," she continued. "Jason told me you gave up your own classes to work full-time after your father passed. This money, it's to help you enroll next semester, even part-time." I felt something in my chest break open. "I don't deserve this," I whispered. She reached across the table and took my hand. "That's exactly why you do." The room was silent except for the faint hum of the refrigerator. Then she said the words that kept me awake all night. "Kindness always comes back. Maybe not from the same direction, maybe not in the same form, but it comes back." After she left, I sat at that kitchen table for hours. I kept thinking about how close I had been to saying no when Jason first told me about his tuition. I remember looking at my bank account, calculating bills, worrying about the car, thinking about the what-ifs. But something in me had said, just help him. I didn't realize that kindness doesn't just help the person in front of you, it creates a ripple. Jason finished that semester strong. The next year, he got a part-time job tutoring high school students in math. One of those students ended up being a kid from our old neighborhood who had been struggling. Jason never charged him. He told me later, "You started it." And I guess in some small way, I did. That money Mrs. Carter brought over helped me enroll in 2 night classes at the community college. It wasn't easy balancing work and school, but something had shifted inside me. I no longer felt stuck. I felt supported, seen. Over time, I began noticing opportunities to be kind in small ways, holding the door a little longer, listening when someone needed to vent, checking in on my mom more often, even when I was exhausted. Kindness stopped feeling like a grand gesture. It felt like a habit, a choice. A year later, I found out that one of the church members who had contributed to that fund was going through medical bills they couldn't afford. Quietly, without telling anyone, I sent what I could, not because I owed them, but because I understood now. Kindness isn't about keeping score. It's about trust. Trusting that when you do good, even in your hardest moments, you're building something bigger than yourself. That knock at 11 p.m. could have been bad news. Instead, it was a reminder. A reminder that even when life feels heavy, when you're tired and unsure and stretched thin, you still have something valuable to give. And sometimes, when you give it freely, the world finds a way to give back. If you're watching this and you're in a tough season, working long hours, carrying responsibilities, feeling unseen, let this be your reminder too. Your kindness matters. Even when no one claps for it, even when it feels small, because somewhere, someone is being changed by it. And one day, maybe when you least expect it, there will be a knock at your door. And on the other side of that door might be proof that love always finds its way home. So tonight, before you go to bed, think of one small act of kindness you can offer tomorrow. Send the message, make the call, help without being asked. You never know whose life you're quietly lifting, or how your own might be lifted in return. And if this story stayed with you the way that night stayed with me, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because kindness doesn't just change moments, it changes lives.